Alright, hello mga students, hello class. Pagpatuloy lang natin yung ating discussion sa process costing. Dito tayo sa second approach, yung FIFO method, ano? And how do we compute for the cost of goods manufactured, no? From the WIP inventory that was eventually transferred to your finished goods because it's already done sa production process. And how do we compute for the ending inventory? Okay? Last time, pinag-usapan natin yung FIFO, yung weighted average. For this video lecture, pag-usapan naman natin, ano yung kinaiba niya dito sa weighted average, no? Now, for us to compare, okay, I hope fresh pa ito, kasi last video lecture lang naman, unless of course, meron tayong break, no? In between, may pahinga. Okay? So, let's differentiate the weighted average with your first in, first out or your FIFO method. In accounting for the cost flow sa process costing, when we are talking about the FIFO method, first check, it is used to separate goods, and when we are talking of goods, we are talking of merchandise inventory. It is according to when they were purchased and at what cost. Kasi class, sa first in, first out, we are talking of, literal na first in, first out. Kung ano yung unang pumasok, kung ano yung unang nabili, at kung magkano yung halaga nun, yun din yung unang maibebenta. Okay? First in, first out. Unang pumasok, unang lalabas. So meron siyang order of order of occurrence. Okay? Parang chronological order, di ba? Now, the cost of beginning inventories, siya yung unang cost na ilalabas sa cost of goods sold. Of course, yung cost of goods sold is kung kailan ito mabebenta, no? Kasi eto, no, from your WIP inventory, pag na-manufacture na ito, pag kumpleto na sa production, malilipat ito doon sa finished goods inventory. Okay? Pero pag nabenta na yon, lalabas na yun sa finished goods inventory, pupunta na siya doon sa cost of goods sold. Ang sinasabi sa first in, first out, yung halaga ng mga unang inventories na nabili natin, yun din yung unang ilalabas pag nabenta na. Nakikerry lang naman natin ito, no? Namumove lang ito from one account, from control accounts to another. Pero pag nabenta, of course, using FIFO, yung unang halaga nung binili natin, yun din yung ibebenta natin. Kasi remember that the cost of goods sold are recorded at cost. Hindi naman ito yung selling price. Okay? With other costs following in the order in which they were incurred. Now, tandaan po ninyo ito. Yung remaining inventory, yung ating ending inventory, they are assigned costs based on the most recent purchases. Excuse me. Okay? So, kung ano yung natitira sa inventory at the end of the period, mga most recent purchases yan. Kasi yung mga older purchases, nailabas na yan, nabenta na yan, class, no? So, yan po yung ating FIFO. FIFO method separates WIP inventory and current period production as well as their costs so that a current period cost per unit can be calculated. Anong ibig nito sabihin? Sa FIFO, pinaghihiwalay natin yung beginning inventory, which is the ending inventory of the period, last period, no? And then your current period production. Okay? Maging yung mga costs nila. Okay? Para ma-compute natin yung current period cost per unit, no? Paano ba natin ito ma-differentiate? Later on, ipapakita ko po sa inyo. Pero tandaan po ninyo yung differences nitong dalawang approach, ano? Pag costing method natin ay weighted average, yung costs and units natin ay yung BI. Ano itong BI? Sir, background investigation. Hindi, no? Beginning inventory yan, plus current period production. Ang cost per unit natin, okay, previously, no, is ina-average lamang natin ito para ma-compute natin yung EUP. Sa first in, first out, sineseparate natin yung beginning inventory from the current period production. As you will later on see, and find out. Now, for the cost per unit, meron tayong separate costs for beginning inventory units and units started during the period. Okay? So, pakita natin ito sa pamamagitan ng the same illustration as what we have used before. Okay? So, familiar naman, kasi same lang naman, ipapakita lang natin paano magkakaiba. So again, in terms of the physical units, ang beginning inventory natin ay 10,000. Okay? Ang naumpisahan for the period ay 401,400 units. Ang na-transfer sa finished goods inventory, ibig sabihin yung natapos na, 406,000. At of course, may matitira na 5,400 units. Again, these are units. Ito naman yung mga corresponding na mga dollar amounts nila. Now, pagdating sa steps 1 and 2, parehas lang po yan, no? Mapa weighted average man or FIFO or first in, first out. Why? We are only talking about the physical units dito. Therefore, kung ano yung dito, no, na given sa problem, yun na rin naman. What is the total physical units to account for? Eh di 411,400. Beginning plus started for the period. What is your physical units accounted for? Eh di 411,400 din. No? So it doesn't matter kung FIFO yan or weighted average. Parehas lang po sila. Steps 1 and step 2 ng process costing. Magkakaroon tayo ng difference pagdating dito sa step 3 in calculating the equivalent units of production. How? Kasi class, dito sa FIFO method, tignan ninyo ito, no? Basahin po ninyo itong maigi. Ang sinasabi kasi dito, the work performed last period is not commingled with work of the current period. Ano ibig sabihin ng not commingled? Hindi natin ito pinaghahalo. Yung trabaho na naumpisahan nung nakaraang period na makikarry over natin sa current period kasi started ito last period, beginning mo yan sa ngayon, hindi natin ito kino-commingle, hindi natin minimix with the work of the current period. So eto na yung unang kaibahan natin. Unlike sa weighted average, no, na hindi natin sila dinidistinguish. Okay? Anong sabi pa dito? Only the work performed on the beginning WIP inventory during the current period is shown in the EUP schedule. Makita po ninyo ito later, no? So halimbawa, applying ulit this one and pinick up lang natin ito doon sa ating previous na slide. Please take note of this one. Kasi we are talking about the beginning WIP inventory. Etong 10,000 units, which is 40% complete as to labor and overhead. O yung tinatawag natin na conversion. Now, papaano natin ito i-apply na FIFO method? Tignan po ninyo ito. Okay, meron tayong mga arrow to signify saan natin ito kinuha. Kasi pag gagawa tayo ng EUP schedule for the FIFO method, ganito ang kakalabasan yan. Dati, papakita ko naman ito mamaya sa mga susunod na slide para makita ninyo yung comparison, no? Pero tingnan ninyo, sa direct material, naka-zero na yung ating beginning WIP. Why? Kasi in terms of the direct material, 100% na po yan last period. So, syempre, wala ka ng ibang gagawin doon. 0% ka na lang sa ngayon. So, 10,000 times 0%, 0 na yan. Okay? Unlike sa conversion, ang sabi kasi, from the previous period, 40% complete. Kung ang pinag-uusapan natin yung current period, edi meron ka pang 60% na for completion. That is why, of course, by the end of the period, yung 60% completed na yan kasi bago ka makapag-start ng iba, kukumpletuhin mo muna etong ating beginning. Therefore, 10,000 times 60%, which is yung ginawa mo ngayong period, eto na yon, no? 6,000 units. Alright? So that is why we have the arrow here. coming from the 10,000 and then saan galing yung 6K? Kasi nga 100% minus 40%, you have 60%. Minultiply lang natin siya. At etong 0 naman, kasi sabi dito, no, 40% complete as to labor. Ibig sabihin, 100% complete tayo as to direct materials. Okay? Then, the same lang naman po tayo dito. No? Sa candle started and completed, please take note na 396,000 din lang yan, parehas. Ganon din sa ating ending WIP inventory. So, nagkakaroon tayo ng difference doon sa beginning inventory. Okay? Pag tinignan ninyo kasi last time, no, under the weighted average method, o parehas yan 10,000, 10,000. Hindi natin, pinapakialaman yung distinction ng beginning at saka ng started and, started and completed. So, at 100% sila palagi. Okay? Unlike dito, ayan, minumultiply natin doon sa percentage completed for the current period. Alright? So, yan po difference nila. Pero tignan ninyo, 39654 sa DM, 3964320 sa conversion. Ganun lang din naman sila, di ba? Equal lang. So, dito lang talaga nagkakatalo sa umpisa. Now, step 4 tayo. Sa kasi ito step 3 ito, guys, di ba? Step 1 and step 2 parehas. Step 3, nagkakatalo tayo sa beginning. Paano naman yung step 4? Sa step 4, ayan, parehas lang po yan. The same lang yung FIFO at saka yung weighted average method. Kasi ang kinukompute natin dito, ang kinukuha natin sa step 4, total cost to account for. Okay, dito sa ating problem, given naman sila, parehas lamang po yan. Yung amounts nila, no? Pagdating sa step 5, of course, calculation ito ng cost per equivalent unit of production. Aba, syempre, dahil nagkaiba tayo sa EUP, syempre, maapektuhan ito. Oh, by the way, kasi dito, ang pinapakita ko sa inyo kanina, yung distinction, but tatandaan po ninyo, pinag-uusapan natin dito, is calculation ng EUP. Yung bottom figure, no? So, pag tinanong kayo, magkano or ilan yung EUP for direct materials, okay, hindi 0, no? Kung hindi, etong 401,400. It so happened lang that we put an emphasis dito sa ating beginning kasi yun yung different, no, sa FIFO method as compared sa ating weighted average. But don't be confused, ano ba yung target natin dito? Which is the calculation of the equivalent units of production. Pagdating sa step 5, of course, no, maapektuhan yan kasi magkaiba yung equivalent units of production. And ang sinasabi kasi dito, yung FIFO EUP calculation, it ignores the work performed in the prior period on the beginning WIP inventory. Therefore, the FIFO cost per EUP computation also ignores prior period cost. So kung doon sa ating physical units, di ba? Sa step 1 and step 2 and then applying it doon sa step 3, kung ano lang yung completed for the period, yun lang yung sinasama natin sa computation ng EUP, di ba? Dito, because we are talking about the cost, hindi rin natin dito sinasama yung cost ng beginning inventory. Kaya nga, pag tinignan po ninyo ito, ayan lang tayo, no? Wala yung beginning cost. Ang makikita nyo lang dito, current period cost. Please don't get me wrong, pinick up lamang po natin ito doon sa problem. Okay? Ito ang ating FIFO EUP na nandito sa baba. Cost per EUP ang pinag-uusapan natin. Meron tayong EUP na physical units. Okay? Meron tayong cost per EUP. Ang step 3 mo, ito, di ba? 401,400. 406,320. Ito yung ating denominator. Yung numerator natin is yung current period cost lamang. Hindi kasama yung beginning inventory. Kasi pag titignan ninyo yung sa ating weighted average, ayan siya, di ba? Makikita ninyo kasama yung ating beginning WIP inventory. Pero dito, 642,240, 507,900 lang. Ito lang yon, itong second row. Hindi natin isinasama under FIFO yung beginning WIP. Kasi nga naman, sa pag-compute natin ng ating EUP sa step 3, hindi natin kino-consider yung completed na from the previous period. Kung ano lang yung na-consume natin or ano lang yung completed for the period. Okay? That is why in terms of the cost, hindi natin siya isinasama. Okay? So yan po ignored. And then of course, mayroon tayong difference sa amount because sa step 3, hindi naman tayo magkaparehas dito. Okay? So now, how about sa step 6? Sa step 6, yung assigning ng cost to inventories, but before that, computing for the cost of goods manufactured, no? Yung ita-transfer natin sa FGI. Now, sinasabi dito sa FIFO method, it assumes that the units in the beginning WIP inventory are the first units completed during the current period and thus, or therefore, are the first units transferred out. Okay? The remaining units transferred out during the period were both started and completed in the current period. Pakita ko lang ito, no? Ito yung magiging computation natin sa total cost transferred. Yung COGM or the cost of goods manufactured. Na kapag gumawa tayo ng ating T account, okay, ng ating WIP inventory, yan yung makikita natin sa credit side. Okay? Emphasize lang natin itong statement, no? Yung units daw in beginning WIP inventory, sila yung first units completed during the current period. At sila yung unang ilalabas. Ano ang nakikita ninyo dito? Sa transferred out natin, una nating pipick upin yung beginning inventory na cost, which is 37,402. Sir, saan galing yan? Ito lang po yan. Okay? Yung total, itong 37,402. In terms of the amounts, di ba, hindi naman tayo nagkakatalo. Nagkakaroon tayo basically ng difference pagdating dito sa EUP. Okay? And then of course, under your FIFO EUP, sa cost per EUP, hindi rin natin sinasama yung beginning. Pero pagdating sa step 6, pag nagko-compute na tayo ng cost of goods manufactured at saka yung ending inventory, syempre kasama na. Okay, yung 37,402, yan na yung kabuuan. Direct materials na yan at saka conversion cost. Beginning ngayong taon, kasi yan yung naumpisahan ng nakaraang taon. Pag na-complete na, yan, syempre, ilalabas yan kasama ng iba pang mga nakumpleto. Therefore, pag mayroong cost of goods sold, ilalabas na rin natin itong amount na ito. Maliwanag? Please let me know ha. You may comment down below if you have questions. Beginning inventory, di ba? Tapos, completion of beginning inventory. Sa direct material, 100% complete. Wala na tayong problema. Pero pagdating sa conversion cost, dahil 40% complete pa lang yon, by the end of the year or end of the period, last period, yung 60% current mo yan na buo, you have to compute for that. 10,000 units yung beginning mo times 60% times 1.25. Sir, saan galing yung 1.25? O yan yung step 5. Baka hindi nyo napansin ha. Ito yan, no? Dito sa baba. Andito kasi yung emphasis natin sa current period cost only without the beginning inventory. But again, we are computing for the cost per EUP. Sa total, it's 2.85. Pero pag direct material, 1.60. Pag conversion cost, 1.25. Of course, i-apply natin ito doon sa mga produced per units, no? That is why dito sa step 6, ito yon. 1.6 yung ating cost per EUP sa direct materials. Sa conversion cost, 1.25. That is why meron tayong amount dito. So, 37,402 plus 7,500. Pag tinanong tayo, magkano yung total cost of beginning inventory transferred? The amount is $44,902. Another one that I want to emphasize, yung last statement, no? yung remaining units transferred out during the period, okay, were both started and completed in the current period. Therefore, kung meron tayong 396,000 units, no? That is your started and completed, di ba? O, pinag-add lang natin, hindi na natin pinaghiwalay yung direct material at saka conversion cost. Same units lang naman kasi yan, 100%. Kasi started for the period, completed for the period din. That is why, 100%. So, buo na yan, no? Pag-add na lang natin yung 1.6 at saka yung 1.25, kaya meron tayong 2.85. Okay? So, meron tayong 1,128,600. Okay, yan yung cost ng mga candles na started and completed for the period, no? Yung 396,000 units mo multiplied by the cost per EUP using a FIFO method. Okay? Pag inad natin itong dalawa, this is your beginning, yung 44,902. Ito yung started and completed for the period. Ang total cost transferred natin, ang ikikredit natin sa WIP inventory, yung cost of goods manufactured, yes, correct, is 1,173,502. Okay? Now, of course, pagdating sa pagkukompute nito, no, assigning cost to inventories, parehas lang naman yan under the weighted average method. Meron tayong 5,400 at saka 4,320. Saan galing yan? O doon lang yan sa ating step, Step 3. Tignan ninyo ito, no? Balikan lang natin. Pakatanungin na naman ninyo ako, sir, saan galing yan? Ito yun. Yung ending WIP natin, di ba? 100% complete as to the direct materials. 80%, ito, no? Complete as to your conversion cost. Ito yung units natin na ginagamit natin sa step 6 multiplied by the cost per EUP. Okay? That is why we will get that amount. Okay? This one. There you go. So, sa direct material, 5,400 times $1.60. Sa conversion, 4,320 times 1.25. Please notice, no, na hindi natin sila pinagsasama kasi magkaiba sila ng physical units. Ito kasi 80% complete. Ito 100% complete. So, hindi natin sila pwedeng pagsamahin. Guys, mapagsasama nyo lang sila kung in terms of the physical units, magkapareha sila. Pero kung magkahiwalay yan, okay, or magkaiba sila ng units, huwag mong pagsasamahin. Pag pinagsama mo yan, iba yung makukompute mo. Okay? So, 8,640 plus 5,4, that is 14,040. Pag inad mo yan dito sa ating 1,173,502, yan yung total costs natin, no? To account for at saka yung accounted for. Okay? O, pakita ko sa inyo ito. Sa under the weighted average method, di ba? Meron tayong na-compute na EUP. Ang nagiging basis natin sa cost of goods manufactured is yung candles completed and transferred to finished goods inventory na 406,000. Pero under your FIFO, we compute for the 396,000 units and then the 10,000 units yung beginning inventory na cost niya plus yung equivalent units niya, no? Kasi direct material at saka yung conversion cost, kung ano man yung completed for the period lamang. Okay? So that is the difference. Alright? So, pinapakita ko lang dito, yung recap lang natin sa weighted average para magkaroon tayo ng comparison. Mas ma-absorb nyo siya as we go along. Okay, instead of describing, explaining the FIFO. So, para meron tayong point of comparison. Alright? Now, what else? Ito na yung ating magiging cost of production report. Pinalitan lang natin dito yung mga amounts. Okay? Affected by your FIFO EUP. So, halimbawa, dito, yung cost per EUP natin dito, 2.85. Sa kabila, sa weighted average, 2.89 yan. And of course, sa computation mo ng iyong cost assignment, yung cost of goods manufactured at saka yung remaining na ending WIP inventory. Okay? So hanggang dyan muna tayo, class. I hope maliwanag po ito, ano? Kahit na hindi kasing liwanag ng aking explanation from time to time. Okay, but please let me know if you have any questions para at least ma-accommodate ko kayo. And the more that I am able to accommodate you, the better, ano? It is for you. Okay? So, maraming salamat. Hanggang dito muna tayo. I will see you sa mga susunod natin na video lecture. Bye-bye.